we're now holding a meeting of the Upper Allen Township Board of Commissioners, September 3, 2025. Please join me for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
In the corner that you filled with all the trees in it. And the guys came through and mowed all that down. And they mowed, completely took my down. The thing is, it's never going to.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is after they butchered that. Nothing but mud.
For those of you who just joined us specifically for the BOC meeting, if you wish to come closer to the front, we promise that we will not be toxic and we will be nice to you if you want to come forward. Let's see, this meeting will be live streamed for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the meeting will also be available afterward for anyone who cannot join in real time. With our meeting, oh, and I forgot the roll call. Thank you, Jim.
Commissioner Martin?
Present.
Commissioner Castranio?
Present.
Commissioner Cochran?
Present.
Commissioner Fairchild? Present. Commissioner Walsh?
Present.
Okay, now we'll go into the minutes that were distributed of August 6th, 2025. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved in second to approve the minutes of August 6th. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. By way of announcement, I also wanted to mention that since our last meeting, we have had an executive meeting on August 15 to discuss personnel issues, no action taken. Now we'll move into the recognition of visitors. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to an item not on the agenda? Okay, the consent agenda, we have bills in the amount of $295,014.89. Are there any questions or comments? Yeah. Your mic, Eric.
Sorry, have a couple of questions and comments.
Cody, can you get that door?
It looks like we bought E-code supplements and hard copies for both community development and the administration. I just wanted to confirm that we bought like 2 sets. Because when I came on board as a commissioner, we didn't have a hard copy set.
I'm sorry, where are you referencing? Where is that?
It's in the bill. It's like $2,183 for each department.
That's a licensing fee. And it's split out by the departments that are using it.
Yeah, so the total, you would want to take the total is what the E-code
So
supplement.
like 4,000 and something.
Yeah,
Commissioner Fairchild's asking, do we have a codified copy of the ordinance in the office?
Because it says hard copies.
Yeah.
I just,
Okay.
so
we do.
just one probably.
We have one here. I'd have to check with Will. He actually keeps the code books, but we do have one here.
And are they going to maintain it then?
We
They
maintain
will
it.
send you,
Yeah, we get every 6 months, we get a paper supplement. And then like as ordinance go in, they go into their digital supplements. So as soon as an ordinance is passed, it goes into the E-code. And then every 6 months, we get a paper copy essentially.
okay. And then I just wanted to share that with the sewer department people or who's interested in the pump station, the PPNL bill for the pump station last month was, or hopefully it's for the entire month, $2,390. So I'm curious if there's going to be any electrical savings. And we made the final payment to the Mason-Dixon contractor, I guess for the Lisburn trunk line, the amount of $54,345. I guess we know we're getting a change order or a refund, but that won't flow through the bills. It'll just be
The
deposited.
refund was for the overall project, and this is one of their finals payments.
So is that like net or was it
The-
combined with the change order?
The refund, the reduction on that change order was for the total bid amount. The quantities came in lower than what they had anticipated.
So that was like maybe taken off the top of this payment?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cody can probably answer that for you.
No, so that's just the final application for payment for the contract. As bills come in, they're paid. So there's no refund. It's just a less amount than what was originally estimated for the total of the project. So
That's subtracted from the invoice or from the amount that we paid.
yeah, there's no refund. There's no check going back to
Right.
the contractor.
Kind of what I was trying to
Yeah.
say, maybe inarticulately, but like it maybe the final payment would have been 154,000, but they adjusted it downward to
Correct.
this
Yeah.
54. Oh, okay.
Yep. Correct.
Okay. Thanks. Those
Anything
are
else, sir?
questions I had about the bills.
Anyone else? We take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We moved in second, we paid the bills. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Public safety, we have no action, but, Chief Schumberger, who has the mic? Okay.
Just want to remind everybody, the golf outing is October 3rd, 8 AM shotgun start. We still have a few spots open, but they're filling up quickly. So if you want to golf, make sure you get it in right away. The other thing is we've noticed an uptick in fire calls, automatic alarms. A lot of the developments are getting older in age. And the smoke detectors start malfunctioning after 10 years. They should be replaced every 10 years. We were townhouses side by side last week, and one went, and then the next night the neighbors went. So if your smoke detectors are older than 10 years, they need to be replaced. And if a CO detector is between 5 and 7 years, that needs replaced. So that would save us some calls.
So are they online with you that you get a call as soon as they go off?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's in
They
the-
have an alarm
in the-
panel and everything. Yep.
Okay, so it's typically in a multi-unit, not a single-family home.
Yeah, sometimes we get calls out, people can't reset their smoke detectors and stuff too in their single family homes. So, I mean, it's not an emergency call, but it's, hey, we can't get our smoke detectors to stop beeping. So we go out and pull one and look at the date in the back, and the ones in Winding Hill are 20 years old. And a lot of the residents don't know that they need replaced every 10 years. So.
I mean, just to tell everybody, I just replaced mine and they were 22 years old. And the reason I did it is because of the chirping, the dogs were going crazy. So I bought ones that they make them, the lithium battery ones that they chirp, but only when, when it's smoke, not when there's a battery low.
Yeah. So. Yep.
Live in Whiting Hills and I've replaced mine as well. Once though.
Golf out in October 3rd, did you say?
October 3rd, 8 AM, shotgun start.
Alexis, I'll forget it if I don't remind you now, but maybe in the next newsletter, we could put that reminder, smoke detectors every 10 years, CO detectors every 5 to 7. That'd be a good way to get that information out. Thanks, Chief. Chief Parsons?
Yes, last meeting, we talked about some safety measures up here at the intersection, Gettysburg South Market, and at the Mills of Shepherdstown. Happy to report that as you exit the Chick-fil-A, Linlow property has posted a sign there that says do not cross here, cross that intersection with an arrow pointed down the hill towards the intersection. I know Public Works has ordered the other signs that's to go on the other side. And today, the speed signs that are going to be posted in Shepherdstown were delivered.
Oh, good.
So they'll be set up shortly. So,
So that sign that was placed was that done by the developer? Okay.
yes, sir. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for you?
Chief Parsons or the solicitor, could the developer be motivated by a concern about legal action for not having those signs?
What was that again?
We put up these signs, do not cross here.
Yeah.
Is that something the property owner wanted to see? I mean, does that advantage them in terms of legal liability by having that sign up there that says do not cross here?
Wait, I think,
You asking me, sir? Or,
Well, it's as much to the solicitor. I didn't,
Well, I think it was, we asked for them to be up, we as a township during,
Yeah, I mean,
during the plan
I know,
that.
the developer came to a public safety meeting too, so
Mhm.
I don't.
Right, I'm asking, does that afford them legal protection now that those signs are up?
I'm wondering what legal protection they need. The people crossing that were crossing at an unguarded area, an illegal crossing, actually, it's street. So I'm not sure what liability they would have for somebody crossing in the middle of the street.
Yes, well, to answer your question, the sign would have no effect on the property owner's liability because the property owner would have no liability for accidents that happened in the public highway or signage on the public highway.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know on that. I appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, chiefs. We'll go to planning and zoning. We have nothing on the agenda. Is there anything else to report, Lou or Alexis?
I have a comment I'd like to make, a suggestion perhaps. I've been reading a lot about data farms coming up to Cumberland County. And personally, I don't see anywhere in Upper Allen that a data farm would fit, but I've read that every type of facility has to be included in your zoning. So I would like to suggest that perhaps we would want to stipulate right now, until we do something more complex, but initially go in and say data farms are only allowed in industrial, commercial, and only by special exception. So if there's one that's would sneak in somehow, and I don't think there is, I have no reason to believe there is, but that would cover us and give us something. And then I think we ought to take a look at what we really need to do in a more comprehensive manner to address data farms within our zoning, just because you just never know. I can't, I'm not enough of an expert to know where they might be able to squeeze one, but I think we need to be proactive because most of the other municipalities in Cumberland County are doing something and we haven't yet.
Some of them seem to be like jumping on the bandwagon to
Well, yeah, there, I mean,
encourage them to come in,
if-
which
if-
I would not like to see, but.
if you have someone wants to invest $15 billion in your community and your school district's net is going to be somewhere between $2 and $3 million in taxes a year, some of them are highly motivated.
Aren't they very large? Like a 500,000 square feet or something like that?
I'm not sure, but the one campus in, I guess it's Middlesex, I think is where they said it was, it's actually 3 data farms on one campus and a PP&L substation on the campus too. So it would be, it's a huge tract. And they're already, even though it hasn't been submitted for any kind of approval yet, PP&L is stationing equipment, supplies there to build the substation. So I think they think they're in a pretty favorable position.
We have a PP&L substation, or what, 2 of them in Upper Allen, I guess. I'm thinking of the one by Winding Hills on the other side of the tracks. Isn't that part of that in Upper Allen? And part of that has been for sale for a good many years.
And then there's one
And
over here.
they have an advantage being
by
near
Fisher.
a
And that's,
substation.
I guess the only place I could think of was out there, that farm out on Fisher. If that was big enough, he might want to sell that farm and
So
there's already electricity out there. So
I suggest, Josh, that maybe you can look into that and maybe come up with some suggestions. You heard Commissioner Cochran suggest, but maybe come up with something that we can look at and possibly pass at a future meeting.
Yes, I can do that.
yeah, if it's comprehensive and there's just a short-term fix that gets in place right away, that would be good. And then let's work on the comprehensive, I think.
There's nothing going to be short term. You still have to have a hearing, send it to Cumberland County, anything to change in our ordinance.
Exactly. To change the zoning ordinance, you do have to go through that process
Right.
under the municipality's planning code.
But once we have it on record that we're going to change, then anything coming in after that is subject to the fact that the ordinance has been advertised, right?
The pending ordinance doctrine starts to run from the first advertisement.
Right. So
Yeah.
if we would just do something short and sweet, restricting them to commercial industrial, which we don't have a big commercial industrial area to begin with, and then by special exception only, and get that filed, then nothing can happen till that's adjudicated. And then while we're adjudicating that, we can look at something more complex and comprehensive.
Look into it. Judy?
I thought the county was they were having a seminar on this county planning. They may have already had it.
I missed that.
I think they did already have it, but, and there are, I'm sure
They
some of
may
the
have
other
that
municipalities might be
presentation.
willing to share their documents too, for that matter.
That's what I was going to suggest. I know West Penn,
Finish yourself, please.
I'm sorry. Martha Bailey, 450 East Lisburn Road, West Penn Township in Cumberland County, drew up a policy about solar farms, and they missed getting it installed by a couple days. And so a big solar field is going in that they didn't really want. But I've asked a couple times that maybe we need to do that. I support your idea. That's great.
Okay, thank you. Anything else in planning and zoning? Moving then to.
One more thing, yeah. We have a zoning hearing board case, a new item here. This is for a fence in a front yard.
Yep.
This is Conway Drive and Mount Allen Drive. The property owner wants, they don't have their property lines delineated, but their house has to be at least 25 feet off property line. And they're asking to be at 25 feet, which pretty much takes them to the property line. I tried to ask them to pull it in further, but they insisted on this request.
So it's Mount Allen and Conway?
Yes.
And what is it that they want?
They want to put a fence that's 54 inches high within the front yard setback. Because they're a corner lot, they have 2 front yards.
So will that come to us next meeting?
They're going to be heard on September 11th here.
Planning.
Yes, at zoning hearing board,
The date again, I'm sorry.
September 11th. So next week.
Thank you. Anything else in planning, Mike?
No.
Okay, now we'll move to public improvements. Authorization to advertise for a public hearing regarding Verizon.
Yes, the next item on the agenda is the Verizon agreement. It's a 5-year agreement. And we're nearing the end of that at the end of 2025. Cohen Law Group does represent the COG and they negotiate the Verizon franchise agreement. It basically discusses the responsibilities and the use of the public right of way. We've generated $325,000 in revenue in 2025. So they're in the process of doing that. What they do is the preliminary process. They're still doing the negotiations, but what they do is get public input. So if we receive anything of significance that the board wants to forward to Cohen Law Group and negotiate with Verizon, you can do it at that following the public hearing. And that's pretty much it. This is the preliminary process. So board just needs to advertise for a public hearing, possibly October 1st, or if you want to do it later, you just have to get it done before the end of the year. They prefer the sooner the better that we have to hold the board public hearing.
You're suggesting we do it on October 15th, correct? At 6:15?
Either the 1st or the 15th. We have sufficient time to advertise for October 1st, public hearing for the Verizon.
I think we have sewer.
Yeah, we should have enough time. It's up to you. It's up to the board.
Second meeting in the month.
Yeah, we do. So what the recommendation here is stormwater be at 6 o'clock, the public hearing following that, and then our BOC at 6:30.
Either one of those dates, the 1st or the 15th, whatever works best for the board.
I just thought the first is like a month, less than a month away, but if you have sufficient time, I'm fine.
It only has to be 7 days before the public hearing, so that would be.
Preference board, do you want to do it in the 1st or the 15th?
Rather do it on the 1st if we could.
Okay. Go for it.
You need a motion?
Sure.
Yes.
I would move to recommend we advertise for a public hearing for the Verizon Cable franchise renewal on October the 1st.
Yes.
2025 at 6:15 PM.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Just a question. I'm assuming we probably won't have a lot of participation, so 15 minutes would be
That would be
sufficient.
sufficient, yes.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Go for it, Lou. Anything else in PI?
Yeah, I'd just like to report on stormwater since stormwater is not on the agenda anywhere and we meet with PI.
Yep.
An update on the Canterbury Stormwater Basin.
Oh, yeah.
We have had the old lawnmower come in and did some mowing, but it was insufficient. And so they've changed vendors now and they're waiting on the new vendor to come in. Also, in the meantime, we've gone in and we've televised the under drain in the one stormwater basin. The under drain's about 120 feet and they got back about 80, 85 feet, I think, was what I've heard. And there was no obstructions at all, so it seems to be in good shape. It would appear that water, even though we have amended soils above it, which the water's supposed to come down through the amended soils and make it to the drain, that that's not working as well as it should. So they're looking at one of two options. One would be to put appendages in periodically down, and the second would be just to remove some of the amended soils and put some riprap in on top. And that could be done in-house. So at the next Stormwater Improvement Committee, we'll be able to talk about those two options. So they've made progress. The new mower should be in the next week or two. As we go back and look at the original plans for Canterbury, there were wetlands behind Canterbury in that location. So it was wet before we ever went in with the stormwater basin. So we're not going to make it completely dry. The pieces that are in there right now seem to be functioning well, except for that under drain. So we'll see what will happen there. I think, Lou, you were out to the property?
I did, and they did mow the berm that's behind a lot of those properties. I did recommend that we cut back just a little bit at the lower end where it comes to a point. But I think what the job that they've done so far, I think has satisfied some of the residents back here. There's a little bit more work to be done, but
Right.
overall, it's been considerably improved.
The reality is it's never going to be a green meadow. It's not meant to be that. It's meant to have plants in there that love water and are fairly tall. Subsequently, when water comes in, they suck up a lot of the water rather than grass, which doesn't use much of it and lets it flow on. So, but that's the update because we did have people here at the last meeting.
Thank you for doing that. So hopefully the property owner will recognize that we're at least trying to address them.
There were some property owners out with Lou.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I just had a question, or it shows up pretty well in the property mapper, like the time of year when they took the picture of that Canterbury Basin. And like, is the water making, you said an under drain? Is there an over drain, or is that the same as the main drain? Like there's a grate.
There's an inlet that the water on the surface can go through and come out, but there's also an under drain that feeds the water down further in the basin. So it's taking the water off the floor that wouldn't necessarily go through the inlet and channeling it down too. But even if we go in and put riprap in, there will probably be some water still remaining because there was water there before we ever went in. There's some kind of spring there somewhere that some of this water is coming out of. It's not coming all out of stormwater.
Looked like maybe the surface water was below the main inlet. possibly just
And that's
from
where the
photo.
under drain would work to drain some of that.
Okay, thanks.
Matt? Yeah.
Martha Bailey, 450 East Lisburn Road. I was wondering if the Strocks were contacted at all about this stormwater basin in Canterbury, if they had any input.
I'm not aware.
I don't know.
From what perspective?
They're the landowners right next to it.
Yeah.
It's flooding their property.
I
Yeah.
think I'm not aware that we've had any complaints to that it's negatively impacting them.
Oh, I think that's what you just were showing, how the water it's flooding there. And that's not the normal. That's changed over the years.
Are you aware?
Wondering if you contacted them
Are you
as an
aware of
adjoining.
issues with the Strocks in this basin?
I'm not aware of it. No, the Meadowview stormwater basin connects and drains down through that area. So it's not, there probably is some water coming from there.
They're not able to farm it anymore. I've spoken with them. They spoke with me, but they've had.
How much, I
damage.
really don't know. I'm sure there's some water getting in there, but it's bermed up to be like a retention basin. So if it's going in there, it's bypassing the retention area.
Well, could I just ask that you reach out to them and tell them what's going on?
We can do that.
That's all.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or perhaps you could ask
Yeah.
them to contact us now that they're aware. of
I
it.
did ask them to, yeah, but they're reluctant. So there's, I understand there's water retention and water detention basins.
Yes.
And I'm not sure what the Canterbury one is. And I'm not sure what the two are that are in Autumn Chase. There's three in Autumn Chase. One of them seems to drain pretty well. The other two have water in constantly. And I understand they're still under the control of the developer and they're acting now as a sediment, collecting sediment and stuff. But I'm just concerned about them because there is a lot of water in them. And I asked the Davidson representative, I can't think of his name, Jason right now, which kind they're supposed to be. I mean, is it an expectation that they drain or is it not an expectation that they drain?
When they're done, when they're done, they have to, they'll come back in and remove the soils from the bottom and put them, just like we did at Canterbury, put the same kind of amended soils in to make them work. So you don't do that until your upslope area is all
They're
stabilized.
done with their construction?
Correct.
Okay, so then which kind are they going to be? Are they going to be the kind that, and,
Well, I'm sure they all, nobody just does straight detention ponds anymore. So
okay,
it's always, DEP wants you to get the
Expectation.
water into the ground, the volume of water back into the ground. So you're trying to infiltrate it back. So I'm sure they're a mix of infiltrating the water and then in high storm events, making, just choking it off before it goes downstream.
right, and come out at the same rate that it's been expected to come out over the years. That's what I
Yeah, pre-
understand.
and post-construction, yes.
Okay. So that just makes me think about Canterbury. Is Canterbury not that kind of a basin if it's allowed to have water in it?
Canterbury is supposed to drain in 72 hours
Okay,
also.
so we're working on that, right?
Yes.
All right,
And-
thank you.
And some of that water may be coming from underground spring, which we're not going to be able to drain. If a spring's there putting up water every day, we can't get it out.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Mhm.
All right, moving then to sanitary sewer, Arcona Pump Station.
Sure. The next item before you tonight is the CoStar's proposal from Cappy Associates Incorporated for replacement of the three original 1972 Chicago pumps located at the pump station. The original project scope of replacing the three pumps and some ancillary piping was expanded to include replacement of the three original check valves. This addition changed the cost of the project from the original budgeted amount of $420,000 to $497,085. GHD, township staff, and the sewer advisory board have reviewed the proposal and recommend executing the proposal with Cappy Associates Incorporated. Joel and I are here to answer any questions you may have.
Are there questions?
Would just make a comment that the sewer advisory board, or most of us, toured the facility, what was it, May or June? I'm losing track, but a couple months
I
ago.
think it was May. Yeah.
And, it's an odd looking facility. It looks like a little ranch house on Arcona Road, but it goes down like 80 feet to the
Mhm.
basement. So their contractor would be working, very kind of extreme depth to get the equipment in and out of there. Very big motors, especially there's a big Caterpillar diesel motor as a backup generator. And I believe we're leaving that alone. That's not part of this. But the suggestion to include the check valves.
Check valves, yep.
Chris Shover, who's resigned from the sewer advisory board because it was such a good suggestion, I think. But teasing him, I mean, he'll be missed. He had other reasons, but it was a valid point about
Oh, you
replacing.
should have checked with him.
And really good. He was a great member of the board. Anyway, just wanted to
I'm
make sure everybody knew that.
So I'm assuming that sewer advisory recommends this expenditure as well?
Correct.
Okay.
So what's the chance our new pumps are going to last 53 years?
Ooh, what do you think, Joel?
Unlike
Okay. And I was, of course, not on the board, but my understanding is that the pump station was built that way because a couple of neighbors complained they didn't want a little building there. They wanted it to look like a house. And at that time, the commissioners agreed and made it look like a house.
It's probably good for security too, that it looks like a house. But I had the same question, Jim, or to Joel or Cody, how rebuildable, like would these pumps be compared to what we have now?
Relatively the same.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You gotta abide by the rules too.
Joel Kostelak, 509 Nursery Drive South, GHD. So relatively the same. Most of the time, when we're talking about pump maintenance, it's the rotating assembly. So the thing inside of the pump casing that moves around, called a volute. So that stuff is not as on the shelf as it used to be, but it's a casting that, you get from the factory. Occasionally, we keep those on hand. Large pumps, not always, but similar replacement. The difference is the current pumps are two-stage, so they're effectively two pumps to achieve the required, pressure and head to get it all the way. And these pump all the way up over the hill over Arcona. So these are, talk about power, these are pushing a significant volume of water, 140 plus feet of head up a hill. So the current pumps are two-stage. The pumps we're replacing with are single-stage. So there's half as many rotating parts. So there will be half as much
So it's
stuff
that's
to maintain.
kind of the weak link in the system or the maintenance side.
Yeah,
item.
that's where all the wear happens. So the
Not-
wastewater is coming into the front of the pump and that pump is rotating and that's where all the wear happens with grit and other material.
So it's just that much bigger pump to get the same amount of fluid up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, so the volute is
stage
a little bit different design, I think when it was put in, it might have been an issue of they could only make that certain size at that time in 72. Things have changed a little bit and they're able to achieve the same flow characteristics with the single stage rather than a dual stage
So
motor.
do we use this brand of pump in other locations? Or is this the first time out with these guys?
I don't know that you have a pump like this in other locations, but it's not a first time for this pump. This is a Chicago pump
No,
that's.
but I mean, for us using this type of pump,
manufactured.
so we wouldn't have any spare parts?
No,
keep
not in
around
this,
for us.
no, you would
Okay.
not. No. Those pumps there now are unique to that station as well.
Mhm.
So you don't have
Okay.
a bunch of those spares laying around either. And to the energy question, not that you want an engineering or nerd lesson tonight, the power required to push water is a function of, again, the flow, as I mentioned, and the head, how high up the hill it has to push it. That's all. But once you start entering in those mechanical items like a pump and a motor, those introduce inefficiency. And that's what ends up creating the amount you actually need to put the juice into the pump to turn the shaft. So these pumps are more efficient than the pumps you have there now. So there will be a modest energy savings.
Yeah, the spec sheet calls them what, TEFC, premium
Yeah.
efficiency?
Yeah,
I
but really
didn't-
what you're concerned about is the actual horsepower required to move the water. So these
That's
are
200 horsepower.
So these are big pumps.
And am I reading right? 3,150 gallons a minute?
Yes.
I mean, that is amazing to me.
So, Joel, I did not call you a nerd, but for whatever you self-proclaim, I could understand that.
Right,
So thank
okay.
you for that.
Sure.
That was good.
Any other questions?
So the literature says Pentair. Is that more as the distributor and the manufacturer is this TEFC or?
DEFC is totally enclosed fan cooled. That's just a
Okay.
generic description of the motor. Pentair's, the part of the manufacturing of the pump.
And do they own Gould pumps or who?
So again, the motor is one piece. That's
Okay.
just like a motor you would put on any other piece of rotating equipment. That's the TEFC part of that. Pentair doesn't, no, they buy the pump, they buy the motor from WEG or any other motor manufacturer out there.
But
So
it's their pump. then.
that's right.
It'll say
Yeah, and they,
Pentair on it or-
package the whole product. Yeah.
What kind of warranty these come with?
They come with, it's pretty standard, 12 months after, satisfactory installation. Yeah. Yeah. And again, largely aren't a problem, in that way from a defective point of view. I mean, there's, just like anything else, there's wear that's not warrantable, but the warranty would cover manufacturing issues.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all we can take tonight.
Okay.
Thanks for the lesson.
Of course. Anytime.
Any other questions or I will?
I just have
Go
a
ahead.
question. Lower Allen doesn't have to have approved this because it's going into their system and all, does it?
No.
I'm surprised they don't have that written in that contract or that agreement.
Okay, is anyone prepared to make a motion?
I would move to authorize appropriate township officials to have, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong section. Bear with me. I move to approve Pump Station 3 pump replacements and installation CoStar's proposal from Cap Associates, Inc., dated August 18th, 2025, for a total cost $497,000, $497.85.
There you go. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. By the pump. Now, I think Commissioner Fairchild indicated, and I'm aware that there is a vacancy on sewer board. We've had two candidates that have applied for that, and I note that the one is here tonight. So rather than make you wait all night, Patrick, why don't you come up and introduce yourself? And you don't have to give a campaign speech, but just indicate your interest in being considered for the board.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patrick Cicero. I live at 108 Stoner Drive here in the township. And I did apply for the pending vacancy on the Sewer Advisory Board. I think I submitted to Alexis my resume as well as my statement of interest. I'm not an engineer. I am not, anyone who has the technical background in this area, but I have spent the entirety of my career as an attorney representing the interests of consumers, last 15 of which on utility issues. And so I have deep experience in the operations of utilities from the perspective of township residents, from the perspective of consumers, including a stint of about 3 years as the state consumer advocate, representing the interest of all Pennsylvania ratepayers. In particular, in that role, I had a unique privilege of representing the interests of ratepayers as it relates to the acquisition of water and sewer authorities, public authorities, as well as municipally owned systems by the big three, Veolia, and Aqua and Pennsylvania American. And so I have a perspective on the hardship that is associated for township residents were that ever to occur, and certainly wouldn't be quiet about that. But in any event, I think I bring a unique perspective. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have now, or I understand that the board will be voting on this next meeting. Regardless of whether or not I am selected, happy to always lend any expertise I can to the township.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Did you say you'd be quiet about that?
Oh, no.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't want you to be quiet.
I would not be quiet. I would be quite loud. So
I think there is an issue with consumer advocacy, not in Upper Allen, but we are part owners or in a joint venture with the Lower Allen Authority. And people have come to their meetings, like basically begging to be taken out of the Pennsylvania American system in Fairview Township.
Yeah.
And I believe I heard at the one meeting I attended that they're being billed $200 a month for sewer. And it's like this chess game. And then we're also been getting offers. I mean, I know Mr. Frazier dismissed it, but like $3.5 million offered to buy some of the Upper Allen capacity within the Lower Allen system. And it's mind boggling. So I think your expertise could come in handy, and you would, if you'd want to attend a Lower Allen meeting, I think there's been a desire that some of us attend. I attended one, but not enough of them.
To the extent that you appoint me to the Sewer Advisory Board and charge me with attending that meeting, then sure.
But that is, a majority of our sewage does go to the Lower Allen system.
Saying they're having an issue.
Yeah, that's great.
Treatment.
Anyway, thanks for coming out and taking time to meet this crew, and we will take action next meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for sewer? Moving then to administration, solid waste contract.
Yes, before the board, I provided you with a memo for the solid waste and recycling collection contract. This was an initial 3-year term with Brook Republic Services. It expires on December 31st of 2025. It does allow for an option for 2 additional years. You could do a single year or both years. And again, I listed out there the breakdown of the costs. They did include it in their initial bid proposal. The cost to extend it for one additional year would go from the current $384 to $407.04 in 2026. And if the board opted to do an additional year, 2027, the increase would be an additional $23.04. $24.36, I'm sorry. I laid out before you again, the three options. The option is to do a 1-year extension, a 2-year extension, or a 3-year extension. Commissioner Fairchild did send me an email this afternoon notifying me about the borough's contract that did go out. I tried to reach the borough, but I couldn't get a hold of anybody. I also reached out to COG to see if they had any information on what contracts were looking like. They didn't have any specific data, but they were receiving calls that those municipalities that had contracts that were expiring were seeing significant increases. Now, what that means, I really don't know. But one of the issues I think that was brought to my attention is the fact that a lot of these trash trucks, recycled trucks, use foreign parts, and with the tariffs that are coming, you could see, should you decide to go out to bid, some increases that would be built into that based on what some of the tariffs and the parts that they would have to get shipped in. Again, the contracts there, the options there for the board to consider. I think one of the concerns that I have, should we opt to go out to bid again, is the time frame that we have left. And we've got over 7,135 households with trash containers. We would have to go out to bid about 2 weeks, give them about a month to reply, to try to get all those back in, get the solicitor review, get all the bonding and those documents in place. I think we would be pushing the envelope to try to get that many containers, assuming Republic Services is not the low bidder. They would have to come in and collect all those containers back up. And a new contractor hopefully would have 7,000 available, which they may not. They may have to order those. And that's typically why our contract, we were to go out in June and try to make a decision on whether to extend the contract a little, before now, so that we had sufficient time to do all the things necessary should the board decide to go out to bid. So I'm not saying it can't be done. I think we would be hard pressed to meet all those goals and get all the new containers out should we get a low bidder. So the three options are there in front of the board for consideration.
I'll be interested too to see the other municipalities that are going out to bid, what kind of response they get, because recall last time we only got one vendor that bid.
It's still been, I've been in contact with Justin Miller with the County Waste and Recycling Authority. There are still some municipalities that are only getting one person responding to their bids and nothing zeroed. So that is still an issue.
We only got one when we went with Republic.
So I have a question, if we did 1-year extension, can we do another 1-year extension next year? Or is it 1 or 2 has to be decided now?
I believe I may have turned this. I don't know if they've had his copy of the contract, but I did bring it with me. I think the board has the option to do 1 and then extend it another year next year, should you choose to do so. It wasn't you have to do both years.
Well, then, if we're just throwing stuff out there, my recommendation would be to do a 1-year extension and then have staff look into going out to bid next year, if that's a possibility or not.
And that would give us ample time to find out what the borough's bids came in at. And then also get with COG and some of the other members to find out those that are bidding, what they're seeing.
So Justin Miller at the County Recycling Authority, he gets copied on every ordinance or every contract in the county.
I've spoken to him before. I'll get a hold of him.
Any other thoughts or discussion?
Would we be able to put it out for bid? And if that was unsuccessful, would we still be able to go back to Republic and take them up on the extension?
Unfortunately, I can't answer that right now. I'd have to look at the contract, because depending on how the contract is written, would be a deadline that you would have to exercise the renewal by. So if we would bid and we would miss that deadline to exercise the renewal, then no, we would not be able to renew under the current terms.
Do we know the deadline to renew? Lou, do you have that handy?
When Republic Services got a hold of me, they didn't stress that there was, they said that they thought that they would receive an answer back 6 months from the end of this year, which would have been 1st of July.
Right.
All they did was they sent an email to Scott and he forwarded to me that they've asked, are we going to extend it for 1 or 2 years?
I mean, these are 6% increases, which are not great, but I've heard a lot bigger increases, and I'm just wondering, I think we'd be on more solid footing if we knew what the other increases were. And if we don't have to do it tonight and can wait till the next meeting, if we wait 1 meeting and have that information, I'd feel more comfortable.
We can do that. I mean,
I just don't want to miss the deadline. That's why I was asking.
right.
But will we have other municipalities bids in by?
Well, we can see ones that have renewed in the past year.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be this year yet, but
I see,
what
yeah.
market, I thought I heard the borough had a huge increase.
Yeah, I tried to get a hold of him today and I
I
couldn't.
can't remember if it's the borough or not, but somebody had a really big increase and I thought, oh my, and the comments were that was the only bid they got, so.
And the bid amounts that that we have in the options were bid 3 years ago. So they did include those and they're not, the most current. So there's a good chance that there could be some savings by extending it for 1 additional year. But, the only thing is if the board opts to go out to bid, we're losing another 2 weeks. So
Well, personally, I don't think that would be wise because we're already behind the issue. And then anybody that's potentially responding to us knows our timetable and then they're probably going to think, oh, here's an opportunity to, I don't think they give us the lowest and best bid with such short notice, but maybe they would.
I think, well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, just to say, I believe the industry is consolidating. They're an oligopoly, probably Waste Management, Republic, I guess Penn Waste in this area. We got the 1 bid last time, but I think I recall that Penn Waste or one of the other ones came to the bid opening, so it's, a lot of this is like theater to me. I
Yeah,
remember.
There were 3 that responded and 2, the response was, we're not bidding.
Right, but then they showed up.
But they showed up to
opening.
hear what
I
the
believe.
opening was.
And then-
You're exactly right.
Yeah, right.
And then I remember looking at Republic Services stock at the time. It was 120 a share. It's now around 240 a share. So somebody's making a lot of money off
I
of
hope
this,
people
even
are.
though they're complaining about tipping fees or getting drivers. But I do like the idea of gathering more information within the 2 weeks. I had sent Lou, I happened to notice it was Penn Township near Hanover rebid their contract in May. And it came in at $91.50 a quarter for a 95-gallon bin. And it was anthracite waste services, which appear to be out of Frackville. And, maybe we could luck out with somebody who wants to gain market share. But the whole thing, like with the containers and substituting them, is a logistics nightmare. So, but Jim, did you do the math, or we go from like 407 a year
Yeah,
in
it's
2026?
6% increase each year.
6%.
Mhm.
Okay. So I come up with 101.76 a quarter in 2026. Dividing the
It
407.
looks right.
Yeah, and I think we're at 96 something quarter now.
Yeah, Lou said it's $5.76 a quarter. Is the increase.
Yep.
He's got that in the memo.
we can get some additional information if you wish and put it back on the agenda in 2 weeks.
What's the wish of the board?
I personally feel it's a good contract, but I'd like to know for sure, or at least like a little more information, unless it's going to threaten our ability to keep this contract.
That would be the putting it on the 17th agenda if we choose to do that. Josh, rather than putting you in the spot, why don't you continue to look? But if you don't have the answer tonight, if it's the will of the board that we wait till the 17th, I would suggest that if you get information that's beyond our response time, then we call an emergency meeting or something and do it, because I don't want to lose this
Or give the authorization.
renewal.
Go ahead.
Right, yeah. Okay, is that the will? Am I hearing the will of the board to get more information and put this on the 17th agenda? Pardon?
Yeah, I guess, do you want a motion to put this on the agenda for the 17th unless
Unless we've missed,
staff discovers that we would miss our renewal date? In that case, we move to approve for a year.
for a year.
That sound reasonable? All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I understand the motion is we're going to wait to take successive action until September 17, at which point Lou will get more information from other municipalities and haulers. But if we have, if our renewal time has expired before the 17th, then Lou is instructed to renew with Republic for 1 year.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Anything else for Stuart or for administration? Anything in Park and Rec?
I don't know, Alexis, do you want to, you have bird meetings coming up, you have all kind of, so I don't know. Right,
There's a bird town meeting on September 16th. Thursday, September 16th at 9 a.m. We're
That's
gonna
18th.
discuss our native plant sale. We're also going to just discuss, we have two upcoming events. One is the Nature Walk, which is guided by Stephen Karkoff. He's an avian biologist. He's with the Pennsylvania Game Commission. He will be guiding two walks, one at 8:30 and one at 9:30. And that's on October 11th. And then on October 28th, we have the Hawk Mountain Sanctuary coming here, and they're gonna have live raptors. And I just actually got an email today from a Boy Scout troop who's planning to attend. So we've got, it's guaranteed people in the audience. At least I hope.
Great, good.
I have the bird town meeting.
Wait. You're,
I might have misspoke. Sorry, Phil. What did you have it as?
I just had it on the calendar, September 11th.
September 11th.
That's what the invite you sent.
That's incorrect.
references. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll fix that.
okay, well, we'll say it's the 16th unless we hear differently, but I'm
I
sure.
just wanted to,
Right.
if we're done with that, just reiterate a request I made at Park and Rec. And knowing we're coming up on budget season,
Yes.
and that is to get a cost estimate from CS Davidson for the total cost of infrastructure at Generations Park, to attach some type of number.
I mean, that we are proposing for 2026.
Number 20, well, in general, it would be a longer period than just 2026, but to look at what these loop roads, we're awaiting hopefully a grant on the second phase of the trails, but there's to be a loop road. I don't quite know what we're going to do with sewer. I've always wondered about whether the electric could be moved underground. And there's a lot more parking too under various options. So I'd just like to see costs attached to that.
Yeah.
Is that for the complete development of all the land? Is that what you're asking for, Commissioner?
The infrastructure
Just the infrastructure?
needed to
Okay.
support what's going in there.
So none of the additional features, just the infrastructure.
It's the infrastructure. We already have some costs on a lot of the features, but it's dated, but don't have a cost on infrastructure.
Water, sewer, roadways,
Yeah.
stormwater. Is that
Well,
what,
most of the stormwater's in.
yeah, but I mean,
Right,
that's
yeah.
what we would be
Yeah.
calling it. Okay, good deal. You'll communicate that to Jason, Lou? Correct? You'll communicate that.
Yes, I will.
request.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of.
Okay,
yeah.
anything else in Park and Rec? Not, Alexis did put in our mailboxes the budget report. I don't know if anyone has comments or questions on that, but. Solicitor? Any updates?
No report tonight.
Tax collection, I don't suspect there's anything there in terms of COG. There is a golf outing coming and shucks, I've forgotten the late. Rick, are you golfing with the COG? group?
No, I never golf with the cog.
Well, maybe you should start. Monday, September 15 is the golf outing, so. I'll be the caddy and you can take these other four
Well,
commissioners.
there's a meeting that evening too, the annual banquet.
Yes, yeah, there's that banquet too. You can, or if you wish, you can just go to the picnic, but. MAB,
MAB meets the last Monday of September.
okay, State Association, any comment there, any public comment? We will be going into executive.
Mr. Martin, I had a public comment or maybe a suggestion, just to make the public aware and the solicitor aware that there was a public pension board meeting at 8 a.m. on August the 12th. You know, we meet in the caucus room. And then there was a subsequent meeting on August the 26th where we received a proposal from PFM, asset managers regarding reallocating the portfolio and some alternative investments. I'm not sure. I mean, there were four board members present, 4 commissioners present at that meeting. And I didn't know if that raises a sunshine issue.
And there were also 4 staff representatives.
Right. So I don't know if it raises a staff issue. And I don't know if we reached it, if it was just a discussion or it was considered a deliberation. But we have the memo from PFM and then I sent an email. Mr. Cochran responded. I sent another email. I mean, I'm very much opposed to what has been proposed. And it gets a little, being in the minority position isn't, all that healthy for your emotional health. But I would like this proposal and the emails to be put in the record, and attached to the minutes as a way to make sure we have full sunshine on what this issue is. An alternative, would be to post it on the township website.
I think we could probably in minutes reference it. I don't know that, I don't think we post pension deliberations on the website.
Not the deliberation, the proposal, and then it's 3 emails. It would be about 40 pages altogether. I mean, several months ago, we posted the right to know requests by Ms. Spitzer. We attached it to the minutes. So I guess I'm asking for the same courtesy and that then the public could have access to it.
There's alternative ways to give the public access other than attaching it to the minutes. I mean, my position on the minutes is there to reflect the actions of the board that happened at the public meeting that occurred this evening. So attaching extraneous documents from other meetings would not, I mean, that's something that's, the board decides what to attach to the minutes. That's not decided by the solicitor, but I wouldn't recommend to attach extraneous documents to the minutes. I'm not saying that that doesn't mean that they can't be publicized by the township in another manner, or that they can't be disclosed through a right to know request or put on the township website. I just don't agree with attaching them to the township minutes of meetings.
I forget if you were here the night we did the right to know information from Ms. Spitzer, which was extraneous to the meeting, and we all said it could be attached to the minutes. I actually disagree with that. I thought that those documents should have been on the website, but I agree there's alternative ways, but
Well, so when we discuss an alternative. Oh,
I mean, I look at it as $1 million, as a $1 million decision to change the allocation. And I think it just warrants some scrutiny.
And as for your question about whether the meeting violated the Sunshine Act,
Right. And
the Supreme Court has held that a quorum of township officials can meet to gather information as long as they are not deliberating a decision or making any type of official action at that meeting. Now, this is the very first that I'm hearing about this, and I don't know if I have all the facts, so I can't give you a direct opinion on the spot about whether this particular meeting was violative of the Sunshine Act or not. But in general, you are allowed to have information gathering meetings as long as no official action was taken at those meetings, as long as it's just for the purpose of gathering information.
So I was going to wait to later to bring this up, but since Commissioner Fairchild brought it up, I dug out my old copies of the pension from my prior time on the board, and this is the meeting of the pension committee, and 2 commissioners are to be appointed to each of the 2 pensions. Now we have more than 2. And when I went back and looked at the reorganization from 2024, no one was appointed. And so anyone who had been a commissioner, which was me, lost my seat at that time because you have to be a commissioner. That's part of the plan document. You know, I suggest you go back and look at the document, but there are only 2 people, 2 commissioners serve on each board. And it spells out how many people from the group that the pension supports serve on that board too. The membership is spelled out. So if you go back and look at the pension documents, you'll find that if other people were there, and I don't know who has the vote. I don't think anyone was ever appointed, to be honest with you. But there would be, in the past, I was on both. I was the chairman of the pension board. That was what I was appointed to, which made me a member of both. And then there was, I believe, Commissioner Anderson was on one, and I think Commissioner Castranio was on the other. And then we have members of the police department that are on the police board, and we had members of staff that were on the staff board. And now we have actually 2 different pension plans for staff. So we probably should have a separate panel for that too. But after the meeting, I was concerned. I went back and dug out my documents. So if you want to look in that area, that might help you figure out what's going on, because it's not a meeting of the township commissioners. It's a meeting of a pension board.
right, and we discussed and had, the involvement of the police and the fire department, which I welcome. We had discussion with the police and fire department and their representatives, which I welcome that discussion at this other meeting. So
And the staff.
if-
Julie was.
Well, and Lou was there. I mean,
Julie's a representative
Julie
of
was
staff.
recording some minutes. I
know.
She's a representative.
She's a staff
of
rep.
the pension board.
for the employee.
For the non-uniform employees.
Non-uniform. Okay.
Yeah, she's a bona fide member.
So I take Jim's point. It probably was not part of the reorganization meeting.
I can't find anything in the minutes. I don't know if it happened or
I
not.
do suggest that's the same thing that happened with the joint asset
With the vacancy.
agreement on the Kozer Park, that we didn't appoint any members to that. So if there was a sunshine issue, I thought by attaching the documents and the emails, that would be kind of curative. And, some of the emails suggested we did make a decision. So.
So why don't we give you time? I mean, obviously you're hearing this for the first time. Look at the composition of the pension boards, whether or not, or how they were appointed, or perhaps we fall back on the ruling that was made with respect to the vacancy board. And if people weren't specifically appointed, then the former members continue. I don't know. And then you can also look at the document that Commissioner Fairchild referenced and whether or not, what is the best way to inform the public of that, whether it be a posting on our website or whether it be attached to the minutes of the pension board and those be made public. I think I'd recommend we pause until you have an opportunity, Josh, to research that and then get back with your advisory opinion.
I have the documents and happy to give it to Josh since, we're meeting in executive session anyway, so.
Okay. Anything else for this meeting? No? Oh, I thought you were grabbing the mic. Okay, we will then move into executive session. So